All right, Elena, I am so excited to have you on the podcast. And I would love it if you could take just a minute or two and introduce yourself to the listeners of the Brand podcast.
Hello, hello. Pleasure to be here. I'm so excited for today. Yes, my name is Elena Dacus, and I'm high ticket sales and a messaging expert. And I have a bit of a different background. For many years, I have been buying and selling companies. I have bought and sold over 50 companies worth over 10 billion US dollars, and really had this journey of opening the leads to hundreds of businesses and seeing what works, what doesn't, and the kind of the horror stories I can tell you of big names, big influencer stories, but actually underneath it all, the founders are trapped within its business, hating its clients, and want to sell, want to exit, but can't. And this is kind of this been a journey where I've collected what successful companies had in common and what really failed businesses missed to implement. And this is what I've put into my signature framework, my signature programs. And now I work with mainly women, coaches, experts, consultants that really are ready to scale their business, create consistent cash flow in their business, and do it in a way that's aligned to them, but simple, sustainable, and predictable. So this is what I do. Pleasure to be
I
here.
I love it. And I love it. I know we're going to get into it with the story of how this business really came to be, but I love that it was a series of where you were before buying companies and selling companies and helping to see what was working, what was not, had to have given you such incredible insight to then help the clients that you help now. So cool. So let's talk about the building of this business that you have now and anything you want to dip into from obviously what led up to it. Love to kind of hear the story of how you built this, like how you built this brand and what the brand is all about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been kind of, it hasn't not been just like a decision overnight. I'm doing this. It was really a journey. For me, it was very much a journey. And the journey really started. I remember this day. I recently had my children. I know they're not much older. They were still kind of very young. And what was happening, I was buying and selling companies. And then eventually, as founders and CEOs started coming to me and asking questions. They were saying, Elena, I'm looking to scale my business. I may be considering exit at one point in the future. What do I need to be thinking about right now? Can you look at my business? What's working? What's not? How can we make it more kind of, can we umph it up? How can we make it more profitable, more scalable? So really, that's been a journey. And for many years, I kind of found myself making a lot of very rich men a lot richer. And there was this one particular moment I remember so distinctively, and that was kind of my breakthrough, my wake up moment. We were working on this man's business, and we got some amazing results for him. And what I remember announcing this, like, big celebrations, expecting really like tears, hugs, impact, like thank yous to me and my team. But instead, he was just more concerned about thinking, well, what should I do now with his money? Should he buy himself another private jet? It was just, and I remember this thought in my mind. I distinctly remember my work has no meaning. All I'm doing, all my hard hours are completely pointless. Like it means nothing. Like if I disappear tomorrow, like no one cares. Like this is completely pointless. And that was a start of a journey looking for meaning, looking for impact. I said, well, actually, how can I help someone do similar things, help them create a business, but women that really want it? How can I help women to find financial freedom, build businesses they've always dreamt of, and and help them find a way that goes even beyond their wildest fantasies and dreams. And this is what I have been doing, what I do now. And it's just, Julia, I can tell you, it just lights me up so much. Every day I just pinch myself to say, oh my word, I get to do this. This is so much fun. This is so joyous. Yeah, I love messaging. I love sales, marketing, creating campaigns for my clients, with my clients, and then of course celebrating with them when they see, frankly, their successes are more joyful to me than mine. I just, when they have great wins, when they have amazing launches, where they have a great kind of breakthroughs in businesses, that just gives me so much happiness.
Oh, I love that so much. And, jumping ahead, I already know that you're a 2-4, and it's like the 2-4 needs to like be passionate about the work that they're doing. And I can feel that in your voice and I resonate because I am a 2-4 as well. So I know what that feels like. So let's talk. I love that. I just love that shift. And let's talk about your business right now. I mean, you can talk about, I'd love to hear kind of the evolution of this business, you know, kind of like when it started, how you started it. I mean, I get why you started it. And then, you know, some of your messaging, like some of your offers, what does that look like? Let's get a sense and a feel behind the scenes of what this business is all about and what this brand really means.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of my quest really was women would come to me and they would say, Elena, I have these big dreams, you know, especially experts, coaches, consultants, they have these big dreams of scaling the business, achieving 7 figures in their business, making 7 figures per year. But there was always boundaries. And I was feeling that. I was saying, I want to do this, but I don't want it to impact my family. But I don't want to hustle. I don't want to burn out because I know what burnout feels like and I have experienced it before. So there was always this desire and a request that coming from my clients to say, I want a system. I don't want to just hustle. I don't want to just send cold DMs. I don't want to just dance on social media and get one great month that anyone can make. I want it consistent. I want it stable. I want it predictable. I want to take a mortgage or hire a team, build an office. I want security from my business. So that was always a request. And I felt it. And that was always the quest. I was always looking for a solution for myself and my clients that gives that combination of stability, predictability, high impact, leverage, but also something that feels really good, not salesy, not pushy, not just trading your energy and time for money. So that's been a journey. And really, I've spent many months of testing, using my experience of working with so many businesses, and not just working, but really dissecting their funnels, dissecting their messaging and strategies, and seeing why is it successful, why is it converting, what is this one element, and then seeing actually that's the thing that creates sales. And then I would look at another company and say, ooh, this, I see the same thing, this is interesting, I'm seeing a pattern, here's additional thing they have added, and now we're seeing a different type of results. And really that's been a journey, that's been the testing, that's been the quest, and really brought me to say, when they asked me, and women always ask me, Elena, if you can just focus on one thing for right now to really have this sustainable thing, it really always came down to messaging. You know, as we know in business, if you don't have the right messaging, that means you don't have the right clients. That means you're not attracting the right people into your world. And if you're not attracting the right people into your world, you're not going to make the impact and the sales you desire. So it really came down to, you can have most glamorous influencer following. You might have a great email list and an audience. And I work with a lot of very big influencers that come to me and say, Elena, I have this huge following, but I don't know how to make money out of it. So a very different story. So it's really came down, if we need to focus on one thing, it's going to be messaging. And then we can talk more about how do then we package that messaging in the most effective way possible. And certainly for a lot of my clients, it's, you know, their one speaking presentation that they do on stages that I help them prepare. It's that one launch presentation that makes or breaks their launches. And it's always been this focus on what's the one needle moving focus, what is the matters the most, what is that one thing that if that works, that just enables everything else to flow. And that's been the journey, and that's been the focus.
You're speaking my language because I messaging is everything because I mean, I'm sure you know this in the line of work that you're in. All of the tactics work, all of the sales strategies work, all different business models and offers work. If the messaging is not right, it won't work, or you'll attract the wrong people. And
Absolutely.
it's just, people want to outsource this piece. They want to just say, okay, like I just need a copywriter and I need, a social media manager. It's like, no, you have to have that foundation of what is your message? What is it that you specifically are bringing out into the world? So I love that that's where if you're going to go down to one thing with your clients, it's that, because it's so important. And I think it's where a lot of people need help. So I love that you're doing that. That is so incredible. And I'd be curious, as you're building this business, and even now with your obviously your own marketing and sales, I'm always very honest about what has worked and what has not worked for me when it comes to sales and marketing. I'm curious for you in the building of this business, finding your right clients. We know you probably have your messaging nailed down because that's what you are good at. But like, what marketing and sales strategies have like really worked for you, and what have you found just has not worked well for you? If anything you can share there, I think would be really insightful.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to do that. I think what worked for me, and I guess I attract a lot of clients that also resonate with that style, is a lot of speaking on stages. Speaking on stage. I remember first time I did that, and I did this. I kind of now help people create the signature presentation, and I did it in this based on the neuromarketing techniques. No selling, no pitching, none of that. Was really about neuromarketing, this subconscious communication. And before that, I was doing all the things. Like Julie, I was doing all the things. I was doing the follow-ups. I was doing some constant content creation. I had a team to do content creation. I was doing so much hustle and work, following up, spreadsheets of leads. It was just exhausting, like months and months of work. And I remember I did this one presentation, and it was just, I was like, I'm going to change the game. I'm going to break everything I've learned. And at that point, I've spent over 250,000 on coaches, programs, and everything. And I was like, it's just, I'm going to go against the grain of everything I've been taught. And I'm going to use what I know from buying and selling so many companies. Looking back in that experience of business, what's actually working when it comes to persuasive communication. And I did this one presentation. And I kid you not, I was not selling, was not pitching, was not even talking about my offers. And at the end of that one presentation, when I opened my inbox, I had 17 people email me and saying, Elena, I don't know what you're selling, no idea, but I really want to work with you. Tell me, what are you selling? Because I want to buy. And I was like, that was a 6-figure day for me. That was a very high 6-figure day for me. And I was like, I just collapsed months of me and my team work, of hustle, of like being all over, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like we are failing, to this one event, one moment that felt really good. I felt like I was in my purpose deeply. I felt like I was connecting, and then they were asking. The energy completely shifted. So there was no pushing. There was no kind of buy my stuff, please, please. Completely different change of scene and a transformational 6-figure days. And this is really became a breakthrough. I said, wow, there's a way to do this in a different way. And of course, now, I do this speaking engagements with part of the launches. We also implement the signature methodology in the evergreen funnels, and it works just as beautifully. And it also works for my clients. And interestingly enough, it works for clients at different levels. So a lot of my clients will come to me, they're already making 6 figures, maybe they're already making multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures, but they want to have bigger launches. They want to maybe, instead of running 3 launches a year, they want to have 1 launch and then just relax, or just let the evergreen strategies work. And of course, we do that for them as well. Or people who are just starting out, they're also thinking, you know what, looking at all the scope of things, spam DMs or cold DMs will work for some people. And I love that you're saying that, Julie, because absolutely. Can you make money with that strategy? Of course you can. There's lots of people do it, and it works really well with them. And the best thing about it, they're happy about it. I know I wasn't happy. That wasn't making me satisfied. And I didn't want to run a business that way. So I think that what I love about also what you teach is finding that alignment, something that you feel ignited, lit up by the strategy. I knew dancing on social media to every trend, to every reel, being an influencer, just based in my business based on my looks is not my jam. I'm a terrible dancer. That's just not gonna be my thing. I knew that spammy pushy tactics will just not resonate because I'm not the kind of person. I don't want to build a business that way. But actually connecting with people, speaking on podcasts, speaking on stages, speaking live and hugging people and like shaking their head, not the head, the hand. That's what lights me up. I find that exciting. I'm deeply passionate about it. As you know, I need to be passionate about it.
And it's so your design. I can't wait to do the follow-on episode. So anyone listening, remember to follow the show because on Thursday I will be talking about the design behind the brand. And I always geek out when I'm doing this because I just like, yes, you are in alignment. You are in the energetic match for how you're meant to do sales and marketing. And when we find that flow, it's magic. You just shared about being on stage and speaking, but not with like the canned webinar, like flow that, we all we've all heard and we've all been a part of. You actually being up there, not pitching, not leading up to the pitch and the FOMO and the scarcity and this and the that, but really being influential on stage with your message, with value to then people literally like saying, I need to work with you. And,
Hmm.
our designs are different, but we both are that 2-4. And I can remember that clear as day. Like I'll be in a live launch. I'm like speaking, on a Zoom with all these people and people going, I don't know what she's selling, but I'm buying it. I have no idea, but I just know right. And it's that power of that influence that this particular energy has. And I just love that you found that for yourself. That's so good. And you're helping your clients with the same thing. So
Yeah.
let's talk about you kind of mentioned it a little bit about, what that guy said about, where is he going to go spend his money and you questioning, the meaning of your work. If you could think back to yourself then or around then, maybe before, to now, and you think about how Elena has grown and shifted and transformed, what are some of the biggest things that you can share with us that when you look back at that version of yourself and that version of you now, what are some of those big things that you've seen has
Yeah.
grown and changed?
So many things. Of course, one thing that comes immediately to mind is I was brought up in Siberian part of Russia during communism time. And when I was growing up, women did not were in the position of power. In fact, when I was 10 years old, I was told the best thing I can be is the secretary at a local factory. That really big dreams are not for you. At best, you may be a pretty girl, but not quite. You certainly not, there's just I never got the message you can be anything, you can be you whatever you put your mind to. And it was all about for women was about how they looked. So there was a lot of reprogramming. And certainly, for me to be then kind of had the career and the trajectory in business that I've had, negotiating with the FTSE 100 board members and being the youngest and the only female across the world's largest boardroom tables, there was a lot of unraveling I had to do. And certainly the biggest shift for me was I deeply cared, especially throughout my 20s and even early in my 30s, I deeply cared about other people's opinion. I was always a straight A student, all the top grades, I was always, I want to be liked. I really, really wanted to be liked. Um, and that was the thing that I had to let go of deeply, big time, and just step into being myself, the way I am, not perfect, but just letting go of idea or desire to be liked. And actually, I care about opinion of people that love me, that resonate. But even the people that love me and resonate, even right now, They don't have to love everything I do. They don't have to support everything I do. And they can disagree with me deeply and I will still love them. But I think that was the biggest transformation for me, is actually shedding that belief. And that's almost like a different layer. I had a layer of me, the way I can describe it, maybe some people will resonate. I felt like I was inside the egg, like my kind of my I was hidden inside the egg, and that surface, that layer was someone else. And really, just by releasing that, shedding that shell, I kind of, still on the journey, of course, but that was the biggest thing. It's actually becoming me and being comfortable with myself, my body, with its bad things, good things, and just in a full acceptance of myself.
Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, I got the chills when you were like, yeah, I was 10 and, did not no one was telling me that I could be or do whatever I put my mind to, is like, oh, and just the where you were able to personally grow and develop and what you've created is just incredible. So that's wow. And here's the thing, that letting go of the meaning that we put on what other people think or what we think that they're thinking, because half the time we don't even know what they're thinking, and we're just making these assumptions. And just to, I even love that you said this, and I want to repeat it for everyone, that you even said that even people that you love and love you, they don't have to resonate and agree with every single thing. And I think that that's probably one of the most powerful lessons, because you have to be your own inner authority. That's the whole point of human design, right? Is you've got to be your own inner authority and to make decisions on your own. And I think what's so fascinating is that our entire life is just a series of decisions. Like every moment, I'm making a decision right now of what to say. Right? We make a decision of what we're going to eat. We make huge decisions of what our businesses are going to be. I mean, everything's about decision. And so if you can't be your own authority, you're going to have a really hard time doing and being and experiencing what you're meant to. So that was a beautiful share. Thank you so much for that. That's incredible. Um, let's talk about that was past and kind of where the growth has and where you've gone. I'd love to now hear a little bit about any kind of vision either. And you can go as far, I've had some people on that they're like, well, I don't really plan too far ahead. I kind of just think, the next year or so. So it can be within the next year, or it could be kind of this bigger grand vision, or a little bit of both. Where do you see the future going for yourself? What is it that you really want? What's next?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Yeah, I've always been a vision board. Of course, I have lots of goals and very ambitious, but my biggest thing and what I live day to day, I want to experience body joy. And I've read this somewhere in this book, but this beautiful woman, and she talked about like the purpose of life is to us to experience as much of joy in our body as possible. And I am someone who is so in their mind, like logical for so many years, logical educate. Everything has to be rationalized. Even like, do I go to the gym? Do I sell this? Do I do this? Like everything had to have a logical reason and a motivation behind it. I couldn't just do things for fun. Like, were you just doing things for like no reason at all, just fun? Like, why? Like, is it that was a for it? I didn't understand that. So I think at this phase of my life, I'm looking for joy. I'm really guided by what lights me up, by what brings me joy, daily in my daily life, but also in business. Like, I think that's just been my guiding force. And I trust that it will lead me to many things. But yeah, certainly impacting a lot more women. I think I'm very driven by impact, helping more women. I think it's just how many women, how many businesses we can help, how many businesses we can really help scale in a powerful way. I think that's always at top of my mind. And for me, yes, numbers important, but at the end of the day, it's about people. It's about people. It's about women. This is what I do on my day-to-day life. This is what I enjoy, and I think more of the same at scale and more scale, and certainly a household name, also something that's is up there on the vision board.
I love it so much. I love the word joy, and I
Mm,
think that too for me even has been such a revelation because I think we're very similar in the being in the logical and the achieving and all of the things and to just pause and to be in the moment and to experience joy and what that means, it's I think it means something very different for every single one of us. So even just getting in touch with what does bring you joy, and doing more of that. And I agree with you on the I used to have these like revenue numbers were the driving goal. To me now they're indicators, they're indicators, they're, KPIs, but it's the deeper impact the service the Dalai Lama you probably have heard this quote and I just love it so much that the world he said the world will be saved by the Western woman, meaning that the more of us, I think this is what I take from it, the more of us that really are in alignment doing what we're meant to do in the world, which is going to come for so much of us comes from a place of service and impact. Like we can change the world literally if more women are doing the work they're meant to do. And I love
yeah.
that we both do that in some capacity and in different ways, but like the same goal of really helping women do the work they're meant to do in the world. And I love that. I think that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
how can
It's
people
so
find you?
powerful.
Oh, go ahead. Please share.
No, it is. It's so powerful. Actually, I was just speaking. I like bring tears to my eyes. Like it's such a raw emotion inside me. Like why women? Why women and women independence and women empowerment so important? And I think because for so certainly it's been my story and certainly experience I've seen, and even now, I will see women who are very successful, have very successful, wealthy husbands who feel trapped in marriages, who feel trapped in businesses, doing things because they don't feel like they have the power or the permission to do it. So I think there's so much work to be done. And I think by allowing women to just stand in their authority, as you say, stand in their 2 feet, build the businesses they love. And also I think corporate world isn't really built to accommodate for women. We kind of have to wear suits or behave like men, where with so many women just deeply rebel against that. And I think it's just such an important thing. I think the world where we have women that are free financially, passionately, impact driven, that do what they love, and they can bring our children the same way and show our children what's possible, and mothers that are fulfilled. And no matter what you choose, even if you don't have to have a business, but you're just so deeply passionate about what you do, I think that's kind of the world I want for my children, deeply.
So good. I love it. That's a perfect place to end today's episode. And I would love for you to share with people first and foremost, if you guys love this episode, please do share it, tag us both on Instagram, let us know your biggest takeaway. But if you just let people know the best way to connect with you, we'll have all the links in the show notes, of course, but just let people know the best way to connect with you
Yeah, of course.
and what step if they're interested to take next if they want to know more about what you offer.
Yes, of course. Well, of course, I have a podcast, Bossy Heels by Elena Dacus. Go check it out. We have amazing guests. Of course, you were on the podcast as well. We have people like Alex Hermozis, Stu McLaren, Rachel Miller, Amy Porterfield, you name it, on the podcast. So it's a really amazing place. And yes, if you're someone that you are maybe looking to improve your speaking, or you want to have this one signature presentation to really skyrocket your business and skyrocket improve your launches, your evergreen funnel, and you're really kind of attracted to this authentic, powerful messaging that speaks from your soul, but also powerfully leads people to buy from you. So we're not just speaking for the sake of speaking for the claps and nice comments. We're also speaking from a place of actually helping you create more business and revenue. And if that resonates with you, go and check it out. I'm sure we'll leave my free masterclass in the show notes that you can just explore and dive deeper and see if that gels with you. And yeah, absolutely. Any questions you have, I'm always available in the DMs on Instagram. Happy to chat to you. Just let me know where you found me, where you came from. And yeah, me and my team would love to serve you.
Oh, I love it. Go and check her out. She's incredible. Thank you so much for being on this show. And everyone stay tuned because on Thursday, we'll have the design behind the brand. Well, I'll be looking at Elena's body graph, her human design, all of the energy that you just felt in this episode. I'm going to be showing how that's actually written right in her design. So definitely stay
Can't
tuned.
wait.
And I know it's going to be so fun. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.